Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. 40 years ago, in late November of 1980, ABC Television debuted the pilot for a television show called Bosom Buddies, which starred Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari. The show was conceived in part by television producer Thomas L. Miller, who thought that it could work as a male counterpart to another hit show he had been involved with, Laverne and Shirley. At the time of production, Peter Scolari probably was the bigger star of the two. Earlier that year, he had already been cast in a TV sitcom called Good Time Girls that had been canceled just after 13 episodes. That show's cancellation allowed him to be available for the role in Bosom Buddies that fall. In Bosom Buddies, he starred as Henry Desmond. Tom Hanks had only 2 acting roles prior to his being cast in Bosom Buddies. His very first was in a low-budget horror movie called He Knows You're Alone, which was followed up by a guest appearance on The Love Boat. On Bosom Buddies, he starred as Kip Wilson. Bosom Buddies followed 2 single men who were roommates that worked together at an advertising firm, struggling to make ends meet. When the apartment building they reside in is demolished, they are forced to find a new place to live in that they can afford. When they find a women-only apartment building that is within their budget, they decide to dress as women named Buffy and Hildegard in order to be able to move in. The show was part of a Thursday night lineup that included Mork and Mindy, Barney Miller, and Taxi. But despite that, the first season only had mediocre ratings and it was barely renewed for a second season. When the ratings didn't improve in that second season, it ultimately was canceled by ABC. Probably one of the things I remember most about this show is the show's opening, which had Billy Joel's My Life as the theme song. Anytime I hear that song today, I still think about Bosom Buddies. An interesting note, it wasn't actually Billy Joel's version of the song on the show, but a version sang by a session musician from Atlanta named Gary Bennett. It wouldn't be long before Tom Hanks would become a huge movie star, including winning 2 Academy Awards for Best Actor with roles in Philadelphia in 1993 and Forrest Gump in 1994. Peter Scolari has stayed extremely busy as well since Bosom Buddies. Shortly after its cancellation, Scolari was cast with television legend Bob Newhart in the show Newhart, in which he played Michael Harris. Despite their busy schedules, both Hanks and Peter Scolari have remained very good friends over the years. Scolari even appeared in the Tom Hanks directed movie That Thing You Do in 1996. The two also appeared together in the Nora Ephron play Lucky Guy in 2013. And at Peter Scolari's wedding that same year, Tom Hanks gave a toast that Scolari said was full of the nicest things that anyone's ever said. I thought it was going to be something of a roast, but it wasn't that at all. I sent him a note a few weeks later afterwards saying I'm not sure how I'd ever be able to repay that. I think it's great that these 2 guys have been able to stay friends for so many years, connected by a TV show that debuted 40 years ago and only lasted 2 seasons. What about you? Do you remember Bosom Buddies? Were you a fan of the show? I look forward to reading your comments. Also, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel, where I mostly talk about music, TV, and movies from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.